All right, at 6 o'clock, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order and open up for citizens' comments. There's a lot of you, so easy.
I just want to say Lisa Bear, thank you for all that the city did as far as the school supplies and the backpacks and all the work that everybody did that Saturday. I think it was very well received, and Carrie and I have talked about it, and we already have ideas bigger and better for next year. So thank y'all for everything that you did and for allowing us to have that opportunity for the kids.
Yeah, thank y'all
for your help too.
Yes, big time.
Sure.
That's
Couldn't have
what
done it
we're-
without you guys.
But that's what we're supposed to do. You know,
Come together as a city.
Mhm.
There was definitely a need.
very.
Anybody else? Okay, we will move on to action items. 3.1, review discussion possible action on the purchase and installation of a new umbrella over the playground equipment at the city park. The cost estimate through Heartland Park and Recreation is $4,872.32 for materials and installation.
This was given to me last month, and it was put on hold with everything we had going on, so Randy asked me to bring it back to the council to see if we can't get this done to get the umbrellas at the park replaced or fixed. Or
Are they talking about like the umbrellas that the schools have now, the big,
Took over the whole playground set.
yeah, basically like
I
that?
believe this is just to replace it. I honestly don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just to replace what's there.
But it's to cover the whole thing.
I didn't know there was umbrellas there. I was wondering.
There's pieces of umbrella, there's the buzzard that tore up and wind
Yeah,
and
that's what we wondered is what kind of warranty is there with this kind of stuff? Do y'all know?
I'm sure none of the buzzards
done with
turned up.
birds.
That's what I'm wondering, how long will it last?
Yeah.
How long did the original one last?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, the ones at the schools, if that's what it is,
Mhm.
that, I mean, you know, they've got birds and buzzards and everything there and they've lasted, I mean, they've been there, you know? I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it's a great idea with the Texas heat and everything, and these kids trying to play and everything. I mean, you walk out on your back porch and just smoldered, you know, you can't even, you know, don't nobody want to be outside. I personally think we need them.
Are they fabric?
Mhm.
Are they hard sided?
They're a fabric.
They're fabric.
And to answer, I think to answer your question, they've been there for 6 or 8 years.
But see, that's way before my time, so I didn't know
I
about
didn't have any idea.
what kind of longevity that they would have.
So we've had them in the past.
They're up now.
They're up now.
It's the
They're-
ones-
So the pine straw doesn't get wet and weight them down, and leaves don't weight them down and tear them and that kind of stuff?
I can't answer that, honestly, I don't know. There's something that has caused them to tear. I was told it was a storm. You see the buzzards on them all the time, which that's a total different subject, but I honestly don't know.
I would think this Texas sun on vinyl is not gonna be very friendly.
Well, but it's gonna be, I mean, it is some shade, not, so it wouldn't be 24/7 that they would be in the bright sun.
These have been nasty and damaged since I've been working at the city, so it's not nothing.
I think the fabric's definitely a better option than vinyl, if it else would be.
I'll make a motion that we, go with the umbrellas, you know, for the EDC to do this with the umbrellas.
I have a motion from Cindy, a second from Carrie. All in favor? All against? Dawn, did you vote?
I saw.
Oh, I'm sorry. 3-1. Motion carries. 3.2, review discussion possible action on the approval of the EDC budget for fiscal year of '25.
Have y'all had a chance to go over that?
I just gave it to y'all, so we need to push that off to the 19th if we can,
I got it earlier, but
and I
Let's
apologize.
say I've already
I
seen
don't
it.
think there's any legal requirement for the budget, is there?
There's not any legal requirement to approve or do anything with their budget, no.
I would say let's put that off, personally. Just so we have time to actually go over it and understand.
I've already went over it.
Make a motion to table. I'd make a motion we table it.
A motion from Keith,
I'll second that.
a second from Don, all in favor of tabling that?
Aye.
4-0, motion carried with table. 3-3, review discussion and possible action on the approval for up to 2 EDC members attending the annual EDC conference in Addison, Texas.
We're actually only asking for one.
Up to.
We're asking to
Well, this is the one we sent Rudy to last year, I believe, or something like that. It's one of those classes that we do.
It's a conference, yes.
Yeah, I make a motion that we, send them. I mean, we send it every
I
year.
second.
So I think with the amount we spend, how many jobs has the EDC created? And how many thousands have we spent on training? That would be my big question.
Kinda hard to tell what the EDC actually brought in versus what they didn't, but we have the coffee shop, we have Big Ben's, we have,
But none of those are brought in here
Huckleberries.
by the EDC.
None of those are what?
have you been privy to any of those conversations that was had with, Roger Lewis or any of that, to see if they were actively involved in helping him today?
I have had with the coffee shop, and now, I don't doubt that they've had long discussions with and interacted with, but were they instrumental in bringing new jobs?
Okay, and are we gonna base this off past or of the potential to bring on new businesses? Because that's really what
Base it on the past, because that's what we have.
but we also have new
New
people,
leadership.
new leadership, so
But see, to me, it
we
didn't.
need new jobs,
Yes,
we
because
need new
Rudy said he
opportunities,
was
so.
gonna take all his knowledge with him when he left. So I think it might be important that we make sure whoever's now in charge or on that board know
agree.
what they're doing and have that knowledge, because he was not gonna
And-
pass it along.
Exactly, and having attended a conference as a prior EDC member, I can speak to the value of the information that I learned at the conference we went to in Marshall. So I think that if we have motion forward and invested individuals into the process, that information can be put to good use, and the examples laid out by the bigger cities that incorporated us into that conversation in Marshall are blueprints that we can use to maybe help get us into the future, and that's where I'm going with my conversation about that, is that it's for the future. That
See,
we-
my outlook on it is, the town want to keep the EDC, so therefore,
Yeah.
just
We
like you
support it.
said,
Citizens vote.
we need to support,
That's right.
and with us having somebody new in there, it's not fair to them to not get the knowledge that was given by us on the previous. So that's why I made a motion to pass it.
So we have a motion from Cindy to approve. the
I
motion.
second.
Second was Carrie.
Second from Gary, all in favor? All against?
Yeah.
3-1, motion carries. Moving on to 3-4, review, discussion, and possible action on the approval of an administrative position for the EDC to keep minutes and agendas. Approval requested for up to 5 hours per month at the rate of $25 an hour. I do know that Randy had reached out to me directly after putting this on there and said during the whole transition, everything, that he was gonna need a little bit more than 5 hours a month.
Bring that up, he asked me the same thing today. And this was when we, back in February, I think it was, when we put Miss Darlene in that position, y'all put Miss Darlene in that position, that was for 6 months. So this is having to come back up, because it was only a 6-month position.
So we're already doing the 5, it's,
What are we currently paying? Is it,
25 an hour.
okay, I didn't know if we were keeping it the same.
Yeah, it did, because that was what was voted on there, and that's what's been proposed. Randy is asking for more than 5 hours, he didn't say, he didn't know how much, but he is asking for more.
I think with one meeting a month, I think 5 hours should cover it, but that's me.
But from my understanding, isn't it gonna, after speaking with Randy, and I know you haven't spoke with him, Keith, but the extra hours are being asked because of the what we just talked about, the
extras.
umbrellas. The umbrellas, what's going on with that, they getting everything in order, everything that he's just kind of been thrown in there to do.
It's really not just the meetings and agendas. it's
Right,
like the
that's the
administrative
way I
stuff.
took it, speaking with Randy, and that he said that it would,
But, and a little bit of pushback on that is what that position was for previously, was to take notes during the meetings.
mhm,
That's all it was for.
okay.
I believe, Madam Mayor, you have a question.
Yes, Mr.
Yeah, I was just gonna explain. Okay, so like if our meeting is 2 hours long, it usually takes me 3 hours to listen and type up all the minutes and stuff. So the 5 hours is for just taking the minutes. And then he wants somebody to do the agenda, the, bookwork and stuff that Rudy was doing.
So somebody just administrative role as well as the.
He said
meetings
what
and
Rudy
agendas.
was doing, so.
That makes sense. And he's asking for up to,
I believe,
Initially-
so, and so.
from my
up
understanding,
to
20 hours,
Up to 20
right,
would be,
right.
you know, and I just did a quick Glassdoor search of EDC administrative assistant salaries, and those salaries are greater than 40,000 a year. So I think it's very, very economical at $25 an hour for 20 hours. And you feel up to 20 will help you get what you
I'm
need?
trying to help the EDC and the city out.
And that's just
But-
per month, that's
Okay.
not per week, that's just per
That's the
month.
whole
But
month.
Yeah, for the month.
when you're saying 40,000, that's the assumption we're talking about a Dallas-sized city where their EDC
Yeah,
has
it
millions
doesn't
and
say,
millions of
it doesn't
dollars.
say what it is, it just says EDC
Sure, sure.
administrative. But I think given also the circumstances of where the EDC and the position it finds itself in now and the transition, that it's reasonable. I do.
500 hours.
So what if we gave
I mean,
No.
$500
15
more.
hours for the next month and then go back to 5 for the rest of the 6-month period and have it renew every 6 months?
I don't believe that's gonna give him time
I
to.
would think.
No, because he's looking
like
for
6
somebody
months.
to continue to do this, like to do what Rudy was doing. As far as like the books and the, and all of that, he's looking for somebody to come in and actually do that every month, like.
Mhm.
you
I would
know,
think
not
at
just-
least
In
6
my
months.
opinion, that's what they volunteer for. That's what the EDC people are there for. They're volunteering to do that.
I see what you're saying, but I'm sure he's wanting to pay somebody so he can make sure that they stay, or that they're there and gonna do it.
Yeah, it's $500 a month if you would do it, you propose the $20 out, and then we could do it on a 6-month thing and reevaluate it 6 months and say, are you caught up, is everything being handled? And
Yeah.
because I want to see more businesses come in, and that's gonna be more legwork on the EDC as well, and there's gonna be more paperwork involved, so I say we do it on a 6-month stint.
Yeah. And that way, that keeps because we have to measure how things are going.
Right. Well, I make a
For the
motion that we,
citizens.
oh, I'm sorry, Bobby, go ahead, go ahead.
No.
I make a motion that we allow up to 20 hours a month at $25 an hour for the the budget keeper, administrative position thing.
Can
Yeah.
you specify in your motion who's gonna approve that time sheet?
That would be Randy,
Mhm.
with Randy approving the timesheet for her hours and.
A motion from Cindy.
I second that.
A second from Carrie. All in favor? All against?
No.
3-1, motion carries. 3-5, review, discussion, and possible action on setting up an agreement with Miss Jackie Hendrick as a grant writer for nonprofit consultant for the Lone Star Economic Development Council.
I don't have any, I've got a phone number that Randy said we can call her. If we wanted to talk to her, other than what they've sent here, I'm not real sure what they're asking. I really don't know.
Maybe we should get some more information on that before we
yeah.
move forward.
I can-
That way we know what's going on.
Darlene,
I was
yes,
gonna
ma'am.
ask if you knew
Okay.
anything about that.
There's some grants out there, that $50,000 grants to help with like things in the park, certain things, and they have to be named. They have, all the research has to be done on it, how much it's gonna cost and stuff. And I think it's Hallettsburg, Hallettsville, down in the middle part of Texas. They use her, and they've been very pleased to getting the grants that they needed to pay for this. So it would not have to come out of the tax money it's not a repayment, it's free money. So, they want a professional to do the grant writing, so, we can get this taken care of right and use it in a proper way and not lose money that we're welcome to.
So in this, it says possible action on setting up an agreement with Miss Jackie. So does that mean that they'll have to bring,
She usually takes a small percentage, it's not a big percent. I
Of the
don't know
grant.
exact- Of the grant.
well, what I'm saying is, this is talking about setting up an agreement. That means that the agreement would come before the council with her fees and all that before.
Right.
So this is like just giving permission for y'all to speak with her and possibly get something
Yeah.
In writing.
to get her
in writing
fee.
and then it be brought back to
Right, but
council.
we need to have approval to talk to her.
Okay.
Get approval
Just for
to talk.
clarification, you said free money, it's tax dollar money. It
Well,
may be at no
yeah.
cost to Lone Star, but
But-
it is a cost to our taxpayers.
Right, but we have a right to it just as like anybody else does.
Right.
So if we can get it, instead of it going to somebody else, why shouldn't we get it,
I agree.
you know?
I'm not opposed to giving that, I mean, it's gonna come back to the council for the
Right,
final
that's
agreement.
that's why I wanted to
And
ask
any
that.
grants anyway, but the option to look into those options is not a bad idea.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't have a problem.
I mean, 'cause
With
we
them
we
being
still
able to
need
talk to
find
her
out
and get it all-
exactly what
Right.
particulars we need to, what projects, like in the
Right.
park and stuff to do.
Right.
So we need to talk to them.
So I make a motion that we let them talk with this lady about possibly doing the grant, as long as everything's brought back to the council to be approved on, with her fees and what it takes to do all this.
I would second that. I'm not sure.
Second from Don, all in favor? All against? 3-1, motion carries. 3-6, review discussion possible action on the 2014 Ford Explorer.
So the vehicle, just, what is wrong with the vehicle?
Took so, it's not this one that's sitting out here, it's the other one. That, when it was here, that we switched when Roger became the fire marshal. It's had a bad miss, it, needs, Cadillac converters. Looking to quote on about just under 3,000. My question is to the council, what do y'all wanna do? Do you wanna spend money on it? Do we wanna park it? Do we wanna?
What's the vehicle worth?
That's my question. What's the vehicle worth? I don't wanna spend
Yeah,
money.
what's it worth?
Because we already own the vehicle.
Yeah, we own it. I mean, the
Yeah,
2014
And if we're gonna be
model,
needing the vehicle, it would
120,000
make more sense to fix the vehicle than to get rid of it for us to come back later and be like, oh, we need another vehicle.
Yeah.
So, my opinion, twofold, I'm gonna kind of briefly talk 3-6 and 3-7 together. So, right now, correct me if I'm wrong, that vehicle is used for the fire
Marshall.
marshal. And then now it's having issues. We're gonna jump down here to 3-7 in a second, review discussion on the fire department vehicles. We brought up the last time about people driving the red truck. Okay, by the way, was that ever brought to you?
Nope.
Okay, so, and I'd asked Landon at that point to please make sure that he got the red truck back as the fire chief. To my knowledge, that has not been done yet.
I think it did happen last week. That's
It
when I
might-
got the letter that's in the.
Okay, it might have happened last week, but it went about a week before it was done. And then unbeknownst to myself, somebody else had called in, and shown city employees where another fire vehicle, a tank truck, was involved in an accident with a tree or a ditch or something, and backed into something or ran into something. They
Pretty
never
good
brought
amount
it
of
to
damage.
my attention, to my knowledge, never brought it into the council's attention. So, kind of playing back and forth here, my thought is, we need to get that red truck and park it here.
Yes.
And that could be the fire chief's vehicle, if he needs to, because he lives right here. Jump over here in that vehicle and take off. Or the fire marshal needs to come get it for something, then it's here at the city. But the fact that a vehicle of ours was damaged, and then there's damage to it,
Severely damaged.
and was never brought to our attention, it kind of makes me very, very leery about any more take-home vehicles as far as our fire department in general is concerned. So, just throwing that out there, so we're gonna stay on 3-6 right this second, but.
So if we're gonna use that, then we wouldn't need the other vehicle, and we wouldn't need to replace the other vehicle, correct?
In reality, Don, and I totally understand, agree with you from my standpoint. On the flip side of it, all the equipment's been taken out of that one, other than the emergency lights. This one that's parked here would probably the only viable backup if something goes down with the PD, any of their fleet. It being the oldest one that could, I mean, literally they could get in it now and use it if they needed to. It still has a camera, still has a full cage, it's ready to go. The other one is the rougher of the two. I don't see, me personally, that's why I'm bringing it to y'all, is I was not gonna make the decision to fix it because it just, to me,
I'd
it's a
like
lot
to
of
see the
money.
value of it, knowing it's worth fixing.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
I
What'd you
think
say,
we end up, every time we put one on auction, we take a huge loss on it versus if I were selling it outright myself, but because we're a city, we have to go through a different process. I think we should fix it. It'd be here for running to the bank to do deposits and all those kinds of things. It becomes the, runabout vehicle. Just for whatever it's needed. I don't think the repairs are so astronomical, but yet if we ended up having to buy a new vehicle, we're talking nowadays $40,000-$50,000.
at a minimum?
More than that, yeah.
Yeah, for that minimum.
Wait,
And what was the estimate at?
right at 3.
2,800 and some
I
change.
think
So
we
can we
could get
put
it
a
done
cap,
cheaper than
just-
that.
Well, it'd be gonna involve towing it, is it drivable?
It's dropped.
So you could drive it to another repair shop and get a second estimate on it. But if you wanna repair it, can we put a cap on the repair and then get 2 different bids, or who else is around here that we could?
Or
Take it to GNL and get a
who is you?
thing from them, where Lowry's used to be. Just take it over there and get a thing from them. I promise you Snyder's gonna be cheaper.
We can also talk with Michael
Right, over by
Sifton and see
Tops.
what he can do
Right, over
for
by
it.
Tops in Dangerfield.
Can you do something to that?
Yeah, it's not, it's
He's better
Snyder's right
equipped
now.
than most
I
shops.
told him to take it to GNL.
I say you put a cap on it and get 3 bids.
Yeah, I think we get bids and come back, right,
I agree
Because
with that.
if we just say do it, it's too easy just to hand it to the first person willing to do it for under that cap. And
Well, and
I'd like to know what it looked like.
my only argument on that is we spend hours and hours and hours on getting bids and going after this stuff when it's at a shop that we use, that we have every vehicle that our fleet goes to that treats us right.
So if that, like, if we decide to get that fixed, if that's the case, then that would be the runaround vehicle. In other words, the fire chief or whoever would get this vehicle, right?
I'm just saying, don't throw the vehicle away now, and if we auction it, we're basically giving it away, because we never get anything for it when we auction.
No, but I know you were just saying
If
something
we
about that
fix
being
it
the
and
fire.
y'all pull it from the fire marshal,
If what?
if you pull it from the fire marshal in the next agenda item and we get it fixed, it'll set over here or set up here and just whoever needs it uses, I guess.
Which, that's good, you don't want it to just sit, because vehicles don't do well when they just sit either. It needs
This,
to be
and that's
driven
probably what happened
here
to
and
this one,
there.
cause this one's set for 2, maybe 3 years before I started driving it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, my deal is if we get it fixed, why wouldn't we just give it back to the fire marshal? Like, in other words, he's got it now, I mean, don't have it now physically.
That's the whole point of the conversation of the next agenda
next.
item with the
Yeah.
problem that we're having with the fire department and their vehicles.
Well, that doesn't mean we still can't take those vehicles away from them and put them up here. I'm not saying that.
But
I'm just
that-
throwing
that
out
one in
different
addition would
scenarios.
just- That one in addition would just sit
Yeah,
until somebody needed to use it for
yeah.
something.
So, do we need to get more bids? I mean, is there a rule that we have to get more bids?
No, not for the price
for
that
that?
it is.
Okay.
You don't have to until you
Okay.
get over
I just wanna
But
make sure.
keep-
several
believes
more
we can
thousand
get-
dollars.
We could get them cheaper, possibly get them cheaper, which would make
You know, on a
sense.
tightwad, and
Yeah.
I'm always, I mean, it never.
Money's money.
So it's who we've always used, but that doesn't mean every once in a while we don't check and see if there's somebody better out
Sure.
there.
I don't disagree with that. I'd like to get another bid, but I agree with you. Yeah. I mean, makes
So we
sense.
wanna get
That's
it
what I
repaired,
think.
do we wanna just say, hey, we need to get 2 or 3 more bids and go with,
Sound
Yes,
put a cap on it maybe? That would be my, I mean, I can't make the motion, but making a suggestion so we don't have to bring it back before we get it fixed.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Who would decide which bid to go on?
I guess we would.
Yes, it would be on.
That's what I'm saying, we're just trying to keep from coming back, that's the only reason I asked that. Was,
Well, if we put a $2,800 cap on the bid,
How much was it for sure?
28 something. I
2801.
put 3,000.
Yeah, it was 28 some change.
you know,
I would say 3,000.
okay, so if we put a 3,000 and the bid that's less than that is the one that'll fix it.
Sometimes you get what you pay for too, so you gotta know who's working on your stuff, just mind that.
Well, the shop we always use has already said it's gonna be about that.
28 something, I don't know.
Have we ever got anything back from them that
It's bad.
was bad?
The only thing we've got that we're struggling with is that 3/4 ton motor, and it's not all them. If they're having a hard time, they've been given 3 bad motors, but they're covering it all under warranty.
And I don't think anybody's claiming they're doing a bad job. It's just a matter of,
Check and
we should
balance.
always
Just
be
keeping
conscious
people
that
honest.
we may be able to get quality work at a lesser price, and I, in my own personal life, I'll do the labor.
How do I do that?
That's what I'm saying.
For
I
what
heard
it's
it.
worth, the, on the Explorer, when they get it in the shop, this is just coming from 10 years of mechanics. If you get it in the shop and then you say it's got a miss in it, you don't know what the miss is. I mean, has he put it on a computer yet, Kyle?
Computer shows Cadillac bank 1 cat converter failure.
So
I'm
that's-
sorry, I was wrong. One side is 1650, both sides is 2800.
And that's the only code that it
Bank
shows.
1 Cadillac converter, and that's actually 2 computers. The fire marshal had it put on a computer, and then the mechanic had it put on the computer.
Oh.
So we can fix one side of it for 1650.
Oh, both sides of it.
I seen 2800 in the text, and
If we fix one, we may as well fix the other.
if you do one, you might as well do the
Running
other.
Cause you're gonna be
I would
right
just
back
hate
up
to
here
say-
if you don't.
You put a cap on it and then go in there and him say, oh, it's got a hole in the piston. Or,
Right.
But
Right.
since we know that it don't, then, you know, Cadillac converters or Cadillac converters.
It's
And we don't have to get a factory cat.
no.
There are lots of alternatives out there.
Man, I can make sure that he will go with a, I'll say off-brand, but
OEM.
cheaper version.
Yeah, OEM is always-
Whatever y'all wanna do, I just didn't wanna make the decision of fixing it myself, so I wanted y'all to.
I don't know how to word it. Help me out, Carrie. I'll make a motion
struggle myself.
that we get a few more bids on the 2014 Explorer,
I think we only have at least 2 bids
at least 2 bids,
for the repair of the Ford Explorer
capped.
at 3,000.
What else I need to add?
And do we wanna say take the lowest bid from a reputable mechanic?
Right.
Just don't even get a bid from a mechanic that we don't trust.
Yeah,
Okay, yes,
Yeah.
and take the lowest bid based on reputable mechanic.
right.
Okay, a motion from Cindy,
I'll second it.
second from Keith, all in favor?
Aye.
4-0, motion carries. 3-7, review discussion possible action on fire department vehicles. I've, kind of already elaborated on that a little bit. I'm not happy that none of us have still yet to be informed, other than somebody else that was not the fire chief bringing it to other people's attention.
Yeah, I'm not real
Well,
happy
needs
about
to
that
be
at all.
discussed
Yeah.
With
At
the
all.
fire chief,
Yes, it
cause that
does.
should have been brought to us immediately.
Yeah,
And it has yet to be.
timely reporting.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I make a motion that the fire department vehicles be brought back to this office. They can use it on an as-need basis in emergency situations.
All vehicles? I don't know what all's out.
The only thing that's out right now is the red truck.
That red truck.
The red truck, and then
That one.
with this one being, what are you gonna do with Explorer?
All fire-related city vehicles stay at the city unless in active use
During
on a
our,
call.
During
Something like
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah.
So
Just
do
make
you,
me a suggestion, this motion's already started, so.
yeah, you wanna re-clarify your motion now?
Everything we said.
Okay, we
what
got
I
a motion from
motion.
Cindy and it's on recording, so.
That's what I said. I mean, that's what.
All right, motion from Cindy,
All 5 vehicles stay.
stay at City Hall
Stay at
unless
Fire
in use for.
I added
For
exactly what,
official business, put it that way.
Yes, that,
I
There
added
you go.
Keith's suggestions to my motion.
Second
Whatever
from
it was,
Keith.
I second.
We'll go back on Rumble later and clarify.
Yeah.
A motion from Cindy, a second from Keith. All in favor?
Aye.
4-0, motion carries. Review, discussion, and possible action on issuing a burn ban for the city of Lone Star. Look, county judge put out there that he issued one. We had a lot of, kind of shuffling and stuff going around at the time, and I was basically told that myself or the fire marshal could issue one, even though he issued one for the entire Morris County, that one had to be issued for the city. So I took his and one that our previous fire marshal, a template, had issued, and I issued that myself. However, Mr. Womack has questioned my authority to issue the burn ban. Regardless, the council has the authority to extend or dissolve the burn ban, so now it's on you guys if we need to extend or.
I make a motion to extend the burn ban.
My second.
it needs to be stated for 90 days.
For 90
Until we bring it back to council.
For 90 days,
Or until
or
it gets
until we
brought.
bring it back before the council.
Motion from Carrie,
I'll second.
second from Cindy. All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
I'll say yeah.
Thank you.
And along the related on that, 241-C is our ordinance for littering and dumping and creating nuisances and limited burning. So this is our burning ordinance for what you're allowed to burn in your yard and where you're allowed to burn it. Looking at some other cities and the language they use, there is potentially, we need to check into this to make sure we're legal on it, the option of adding a city burn ban shall be in effect within the city limits immediately upon declaration of a county burn ban. The city burn ban is to run concurrently with the county burn ban. This is language from another city. I propose we look into this, make sure it's legal, and adopt.
Well, that's what I thought was, hey, it should cover us.
It does not.
It doesn't, but
You have.
this
yeah,
would
but
allow
not
it.
But
to.
that-
Yes.
I
So-
agree with
You're
Keith on
correct.
that.
I've already.
We need to do something. He was trying to find our ordinance if there was one, and we couldn't find one, so I, to cut CYA, I put that out there, but then I got questioned for unknown reason, cause all we're trying to do is
There
keep things
is,
from burning down, so.
The county cannot do it for us, so as long as we have something that states that.
Right.
we
And that's the
automatically-
exact language out of a different city.
Yes.
Well, we definitely need to.
We need to adopt some ordinance.
We need
so
to
can put
adopt
that
it or
on.
something.
I completely agree.
So maybe next meeting.
Add that to the ordinance and see if we can.
And I would say, I'll add to the next agenda to review the burn ban, because 90 days is a really long time to
Yeah.
have a burn ban.
Well, we
So
can always
Especially
call
if it
it.
gets rain.
we need to make sure it's on the agenda every meeting so that we have the option to take it off.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to have a burn ban any longer than we need to.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, that's why we said,
Or until.
or until it gets brought back to the
Yeah.
council, so
But
we
yeah,
can
it'll be-
take it
What I'm
off.
saying is, if
It
it's
needs
not
to
on
be
the
on
agenda,
there.
we can't do it. I'm
Right,
just- I'm
okay.
stating that
Okay, I
it
see
should
what
be
you're
on the
saying.
agenda every time until we remove it.
Okay.
Good call.
Alright, we will now enter into executive session. We got one thing on that, and then we'll move on to the budget, meeting that was supposed to start 3 minutes ago. We will try to get through this as fast as possible. 6:33, we'll call you back in as soon as we're through discussing. Alright, it's 7:01, we're gonna reconvene from executive session. No decisions were made, obviously. So we had 3-1, review discussion and possible action on hiring a full-time police officer.
So I make a motion that we hold off hiring for right now so we can properly notice it on our website. We don't have it posted, and we need to do that. And have an opportunity to, anybody who wants to put in an application at that point can.
The motion from Keith,
I second that.
second from Dawn, all in favor?
Aye.
I'll get it posted, make sure it's posted tomorrow.
So, yeah, we're gonna try to post it tomorrow, relook at the whole thing, and then, put it back on, the regular meeting, the third Thursday, just because I'm not sure that it's 100% in compliance by not having it on the website at this point, so.
How long does it
That
have to
gives
be
us 2
for?
weeks.
Listed on
That
the
gives us
website.
2 weeks, so I don't think there's necessarily time, but that gives us, I would think, a sufficient amount of time, just so that it's out there to the public for any other opportunities. So. Okay, do I have to adjourn from that one before we get to this one?
Yes.
Okay,
Make a motion to adjourn.
I
A second.
second from Carrie,
Thank you.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 4-0 motion carries, so.